and welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be making super soft Lotus Biscoff cookies with a Biscoff buttercream icing. Now, these cookies are super quick and easy to make. They don't require any chilling and they're actually one of my favorite cookies. They're also one of my husband's favorite cookies. So this is like a special request. So I'm gonna give you all my tips and tricks on how to make them today. So let's begin. This is everything you need for the cookies. I'll put all the measurements in the description below. You need 1 pack of Lotus Biscoff biscuits. You need plain flour, corn flour or cornstarch if you're in the US. You need bicarbonate soda or baking soda, baking powder, salt, unsalted butter softened to room temperature, granulated sugar, icing sugar or powdered sugar, and 1 large egg. Let's go. First step, we're gonna crush up our Lotus Biscoff biscuits. So I'm gonna use a mini food processor to do this, but if you don't have one, you could just use a bag and rolling pin. As usual, I'm probably gonna have to do this in 2 batches. I should really just get a bigger one for these. Okay, and then we're gonna blitz them to a fine crumb. Okay, perfect. So there's no lumps left. I'm gonna transfer these into a bowl and crush my other ones. I've now crushed up all of our biscuits, so I'm just gonna set aside 1 tablespoon for the topping later. So now we're gonna put all of our dry ingredients into our mixing bowls. So in go our crushed Lotus biscuits, in goes our plain flour, in goes our corn flour, bicarbonate soda, baking powder, and salt. Grab hand whisk and you're literally just gonna stir them together until they're fully combined. Okay, perfect. Now that's fully combined, I'm gonna set it aside and grab another large mixing bowl. Now we're gonna add our wet ingredients to this bowl. And then in goes the sugar and the icing sugar. And then you're just gonna whisk this until it's nice and creamy. If you do have an electric hand mixer or a stand mixer, it is easier to do it with one of those, but a hand whisk or just even like a paddle or something will be fine as well. I keep calling it a paddle, it's a spatula. Next, we're gonna add the egg. Ooh, oh my gosh, lost some egg. There might be some shell in there. Okay, we got it. We might have lost some of our batter, but it's better than having eggshell in there. And then just whisk this until it's combined. Okay, perfect. Now we're gonna add the dry ingredients. So we're just gonna gradually add our dry ingredients into our wet ingredients. So you can do about half at a time. And then grab your spatula, not paddle, and you're just gonna stir it in. Doing it in halves just makes it a little bit easier to mix, so your dry ingredients don't go everywhere. And then in goes the rest. Fold those in until everything is fully combined. Okay, nice. So it should be a nice, thick, soft dough. Now I'm gonna grab a cookie scoop so we can scoop it up into balls. So I have a medium cookie scoop here, which is probably about, I don't know why I did this, which is probably about 2 tablespoons worth. So I'm gonna scoop up our cookies and I'm just gonna flatten them down a little bit and then scoop them onto a large cookie sheet. You should get 15 cookies, but I'm gonna go for like 8 and 7, I think. My cookie scoop is actually broken, so I'm having to do it almost backwards. So I squeeze and then release rather than scooping and then squeezing. Does that make sense? And you wanna make sure they're at least 4 inches apart because they're gonna spread quite a bit and you don't want them to touch, otherwise we'll end up with one big like cookie tray bake, which actually sounds quite nice. So I'm gonna cook these in 2 batches. They need to go in the oven at 180 degrees C or 160 if you have a fan oven. I'll put on screen what that is in Fahrenheit. I think it's like 300 and something. I'm not sure, I don't know Fahrenheit. But anyway, we're gonna put these in the oven for about 8 to 10 minutes. Make sure you check them at the 8-minute mark. You want to make sure that they look nice and soft because if you bake them until they look hard, then they are gonna be like bricks. So nice and soft, and then we're gonna let them cool fully.
2 hours later.
Okay, our cookies are fully baked and fully cooled now. So this is what they should look like when they're fully cooled. So I'm gonna set these aside and we'll make the icing. Now we're gonna make the Biscoff buttercream icing. So you need unsalted butter, softened to room temperature, Biscoff spread, icing sugar, and milk. So I'm gonna just scoop my butter into our bowl. Then we're gonna add our Biscoff spread. And then we're just gonna whisk these two together until they're fully combined. Beautiful, lovely, buttery Biscoff. And then we're gonna add our icing sugar. So I usually like to do this in halves and then whisk that in. And then put the rest of the icing sugar in, and 1 tablespoon of milk, and this is just to loosen it a little bit. Felt a bit shaky then. I was trying so hard not to spill it. And then just whisk this until it's nice and creamy and combined. Perfect, that looks great. So it should be nice and creamy, but also thick and pipeable as well. I'm gonna transfer our icing into a piping bag. So I'm gonna use a nozzle, but you don't have to. I'm just using like this one with a nice big round tip. It's just gonna make the piping a little bit more accurate. So place that in, push it back a little bit, snip off the end, and then push that down nice and firmly. Stick it in your glass. You want a nice tall glass that isn't too wide at the top. And then grab a little spatula. You're just gonna scoop in your icing. This Biscoff icing tastes so good, by the way. It's literally one of my favorite icings. And then just lift that up. Twist the end, and we are ready to pipe. Okay, now we're gonna pipe our icing onto the cookies. So just do a nice big swirl. And then you can either leave it like that, because I think that looks quite cute, or you can just give it a little smooth out just to make sure it's nice and even. Just depends on what look you're going for, you know? Ooh. I'm gonna go for the more rustic look. There we go. And then the finishing touches, just a little sprinkle of Biscoff crumbs. Perfect, that looks great. I'm gonna do the rest of them and then we'll come back for a taste test. Now the bit we've all been waiting for, or the bit that I've been waiting for. Let's do a taste test. Oh my gosh, it's so good. It's like so soft and sugary, and the Biscoff icing is just incredible. They're like the perfect texture. 10 out of 10. Okay guys, that is the end of today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments what recipe you'd like me to make next. See you next time, bye.